Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I wanted to do this video for a couple of reasons. One, this person, Real XRP Boy, who you need to follow, at boy_XRP. This guy, I'm assuming it's a boy, has been in the whole XRP thing for a long time, and there's no drama associated with this account. This person just puts out content like crazy, and they have put out a ton of videos that are like Ripple and XRP related videos that I was looking at the feed, and I just said, you know what, I'm just going to do one video and show this feed. So for that reason, make sure you go and give talk about a worthy follow. At boy_XRP, give this guy a follow because he deserves it. Watch some of these I'm going to go through a few of these videos and let you see the kind of stuff this guy's been putting out.
Within the macro context, why this is a feeding frenzy.
Okay.
Within the macro context,
Zoe
why
Cruz,
this is...
as I recall, she was a board member at Real. Of course, this is the classic Brad Garlinghouse reaction to Anthony Pompliano when Anthony Pompliano said that China could control. I think he said they could control Bitcoin. No, they could shut down Bitcoin miners, but they couldn't control them, and that was Brad Garlinghouse's response. I want to show you this one.
In particular, central banks and financial authorities should pay special attention to two aspects. First, to the ties linking cryptocurrencies to real currencies, to ensure that the relationship is not parasitic. And second, to the level playing field principle. This means same risk, same regulation, and no exceptions allowed. Thank you very much.
Okay, and I'm going to find some really good thumbnail wording in this because there's so many good videos I'm about to play for you. Watch this one.
There are various different ways of doing it. The main thing here is that cryptocurrency trading and cryptocurrency exchanges are largely unregulated today. So the market manipulation practices that happen in today's stock markets are happening maybe times 10 in cryptocurrency markets. Everybody's taking full advantage of it until we have regulations surrounding it.
Yeah, until we have regulations. Now, in this clip, this is Thinking Crypto, and he's doing an interview with Adam Trademan, who's the CEO of BRD, which is a wallet, and he's also the CEO of SBI Ripple Asia. Very smart guy. Listen to this guy.
Times they're like, hey, what's the real benefit of crypto? What's the real use case? Sure. And if you look at Bitcoin or Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, whatnot, I would love to say, man, hey, in Japan, everybody uses it at Starbucks, right, to buy their coffee. Not true. Okay. Now, truth, Tony, is people do use it more in Japan to buy stuff than anywhere else, maybe, right? However, come on, if you look at the global zoom out, right, speculative value.
Yeah.
It's an investment. It's like buying gold, okay? That's just the reality of the situation. But for XRP and for Ripple technology, I would say maybe it's because of my role as the CEO of SBI Ripple Asia, but the actual use cases, like for remittance, I get daily reports at 9 a.m. JST every morning on all of the transfers that are being sent using Ripple Tech. Okay, from Japan, South Korea, and other places, overseas. There's a lot going on, man. That's a real use case that is way beyond just speculation, and that makes me happy. It makes me excited because that's a real thing where the technology is being used for something other than the equivalent of buying gold or silver or stocks or equities and gambling. Sort of like on investment, right? And I think for a technology to really become successful, it's going to have a use case beyond just pure speculation. By the way, gold has a use case beyond pure speculation. It's called a ring. right? It actually has that, right? Most people don't realize. But, Bitcoin doesn't have that yet. We worked so hard to make it, something where you could use as a payment method. But, for a variety of reasons, people love their credit cards, even me. to get miles and points and stuff like that. But with Ripple Tech, you're seeing real use cases beyond just speculation.
his quote there is XRP has a real use case way beyond speculation. And this guy's a guy that loves Bitcoin. All right, now watch this one.
So as we were saying before, it's critical from our standpoint. And I think one of the things that we've seen early on is that the blockchain movement, starting with Bitcoin, kind of went in the face of regulation. There's some discussion out there that you could actually see where it's almost like the Napster, where it was the first one, it was the innovative, it created the movement, but then because it didn't kind of work within the regulatory framework, it ends on that basis. You have to work within the regulatory framework.
It ends on that basis. He said something funny. Many of you will remember. He called Bitcoin the Napster. Napster of digital assets. Wow. Okay, let's go to this one.
Nakamoto is the moniker assigned to that. Is that a person? Is that a group of people? I don't know.
Homme de guerre.
Yes. Someone obviously knows, and there are various theories about what group of people. I happen to believe there's probably 2 or 3 people who represent what is Satoshi Nakamoto, and maybe one day we'll know the truth.
Maybe one day we'll know the truth. That right there is a scarier concept for Bitcoin maxis than probably just about anything. Next, we have Susan Athey, who's a Ripple board of directors and a professor at Stanford.
It's an asset, and so it's potentially a store of value. It's an investment if you think it's going to go up. It might also go down. So, I don't necessarily think of framing it as just a store of value by itself as really that meaningful. It's just like any other asset that you might think it would grow if people are using the system more, and the system's very popular, is providing a lot of utility. The price of Bitcoin will go up, but if people shifted to some other system, the price would go down.
There you go. Okay, and then this is Chris Larson. Let's listen to this clip.
So stablecoins, what they're trying to create isn't really a problem that needs solving. I'd put a big separation on the proof of work coins, because I just think, again, with climate change, those are kind of unacceptable methods when you have to chew that kind of electricity up just to confirm a transaction, which you don't have to do. You could do it in other ways. Like XRP Ledger does it in a consensus model, it just doesn't use meaningful amounts of electricity. So I think maybe people use that as store of value, I guess, but you just don't have to do it that way. So I would kind of divide it up into those 3.
All right. Chris, look, if you're paying attention, the truth has been there all along, folks. I mean, listen to this one.
That would be end state incredibly successful and would be constructive for the world. So they just help lubricate the movement of other things of value, whether they be fiat or they be gaming assets or, stock, anything, right? So they are supplemental, they don't replace. Within, how to categorize them, Libra is obviously a stable coin. Generally, I'm not super excited about stable coins. I kind of don't get it. Why? Why not just use a fiat then? If it's just going to be backed by fiat, and then you got the counterparty who has to maintain it. I just don't get it. I think it's a trend. Anyway.
Okay, and then we have, this is such great information. Go XRP boy.
Complements a fiat currency. The payments being made are still in fiat currency, still Canadian dollars to Philippine peso. However, they're using XRP just as a tool to source that liquidity. So XRP in this lens, it complements fiat currency. When we think about other virtual currencies, say Bitcoin, for instance, that's a tool that's being used to replace fiat currency. So the consumer would take this currency and use it to buy its coffee with instead of using the central bank's currency. So in that approach, it becomes inherently competitive with the central bank's own currency. With XRP, we've taken that similar technology and applied it in a way that complements fiat currency, helps banks source currency immediately.
I think that when the history books are written, I think that right there is the key to all of this. The central banks are not going to let a digital asset replace them. But if you complement them, if you're a bridge, this was thought out a long time ago. XRP is a complement. Bitcoin is trying to replace it. And so you just think from the perspective of a central banker, how would you approach that? And then this is one of my favorite all-time clips. This is Ryan Zagone, and he's talking. He's got one of the guys from the IMF there, and this guy's a Bitcoin maxi. I can't play this clip enough on my channel.
Proof of work doesn't work. Ryan, proof of work Proof of work doesn't work.
Finish, please.
And in the early days of Bitcoin, there was a whole group of developers that broke off to create other assets, XRP being one of them, that doesn't use mining, that's cheaper from an energy perspective than Visa, and already scales to 1,500 transactions a second. A lot of these problems have already been solved. The challenge for adoption.
Okay, I'm not going to play any more of it. I just like the part where he says proof of work doesn't work, and the guy's so upset. And then here's Ryan Zagone again. And by the way, for those of you that don't know, Ryan Zagone was one of the early people that headed up the regulatory affairs for Ripple back in the 2016, 15.
I think Bitcoin is the Ford Model T, in my analogy earlier. It was the first breakthrough that gave us a lot of attention, hope, and hype about how that technology could be used, but it hasn't shown the ability to scale or mature to be used in an enterprise way. So when you look at things like scalability, get 2 to 8 transactions a second, that's not going to solve enterprise use cases, or even a growing number of retail use cases. The mining is still shown to be very inefficient and costly from an environmental and energy perspective. So I think it was indeed a breakthrough, but you have to take the technology and evolve it. Very similar to Ethereum, and Ethereum I think now has very clear examples of how that's evolved. You can look at Quorum, the JP Morgan platform that is based off Ethereum and specialized for their use cases. I think securities or trade finance is where they're focusing on some of those platforms. But it's this cycle of specialization that has to occur. So I give Bitcoin a lot of credit in that it was that breakthrough. But I think for greater use, particularly in an enterprise setting, I think it lacks the governance right.
All right. I'm going to try to go along and get a bunch of these.
The one observation I'd make in terms of being a democratizing technology, which
I want to make sure you understand who's on stage. Right here, of course, is Brad Garlinghouse, CEO. This is Catherine Hahn, who I've talked about on this channel before. She was a U.S. attorney. She's one of the U.S. attorneys that signed off on the settlement with Ripple in 2015. And then now she's on the Coinbase board of directors.
Theoretically, I agree with. Don't lose sight of the fact that Bitcoin today, part of these holy wars, Bitcoin today is controlled by China. There are 4 miners that control more than 51% of the hash rate, and they can control the future of Bitcoin. And I listened to Senator Warner this morning talking about the influence of China around technology. This is a real issue.
Mm-hmm. And this is why you have the government paying such close attention to this. And again, it's coming at it from many angles. I mean, you have the government using these technologies, right? Yeah. You have them also regulating these technologies. And you have them keeping a really close eye on them for the very reasons that you just mentioned, Brad. Yeah.
So I wanted to get this because I think that's a great title. Holy Wars?
Observation I'd make in terms of being a democratizing technology, which theoretically I agree with. Don't lose sight of the fact that Bitcoin today, part of these holy wars, Bitcoin today is controlled by...
He called them holy wars, and this proof of work versus... Make no mistake, these are holy wars, folks. And then here's Chris Larson.
Yeah, and one other important point that Chris brings up as well, all of these sort of, the vast majority of these fundamental principles of digital currencies can be changed by consensus in the network. So hypothetically, somebody correct me if I'm wrong here, there can actually be more than 21 million Bitcoin should 51% of the network agree that there should be more than 21 million Bitcoin.
So what that means is with a 51% attack, there can be, it can be changed to where there are more than 21 million Bitcoin. How devastating would that be?
It's purely democratic here in the sense of the miners, specifically in Bitcoin, the people who contribute the computing power to the network can make these decisions.
So even though it's stateless.
All right, so there's that one. Hold on a sec. And then let's play this one. Hold on.
The business model behind the inventor of Bitcoin, who is still anonymous, I guess, goes by the name Satoshi. It looks like he kept about the equivalent of maybe 10% of the Bitcoin's total. Looks like they've never moved, so we don't know what's going to happen with those. You can see them in the blockchain, but that was sort of his or her or their business model.
Okay, here's Chris Larson again.
Kind of thing. So we're very confident about.
XRP is having a summer slump. Do you expect a rebound in the fall?
You know what, I think what's really important is that any digital asset to be valuable has to be serving an actual use case. It can't just be speculation. Obviously, a lot of the market today is really speculative. But we think over the long run, it's going to be that combination of deep liquidity, market makers, institutional bets being made. But very importantly, it has to have a use case. We think the use case for the XRP ledger and XRP, the digital asset, is really around initially reducing the cost of liquidity for cross-border payments. Long term, though, we think it's a key winner in this race to be another digital asset for the world for all kinds of use cases. So that's the way we see it. It's a long-term play, has to have value, can't just be a store of value for store of value's sake, has to actually have a use case, and that's how we see this.
I like that XRP digital asset for the world. How about that? I write down these things as as I'm doing videos so that I can remember to add them. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family they need to become a follower of @boy_XRP, real XRP boy. Thank you for listening.